Mending Fractured Bonds, Part 3. The days that followed were unbearable. Brent had decided to honor Eric's wishes and keep his distance, even though every fiber of his being ached to explain himself. He avoided Eric's gaze in class, stopped leaving small offerings on his desk, and refrained from even the smallest attempts to bridge the gap between them. But to Brent's surprise, this only seemed to make Eric angrier. Eric's icy indifference gave way to sharp glares and tense silences that were heavy with unspoken words. Brent caught Eric's piercing blue eyes on him more than once, filled with an emotion he couldn't quite place: hurt? Anger? Betrayal? Whatever it was, it only deepened the guilt Brent already carried. One afternoon, as the final bell rang and the classroom emptied, Eric blocked Brent's path to the door. "So, that's it?" Eric asked, his voice trembling with barely restrained anger. "You're just giving up?" Brent blinked, startled. "What are you talking about? I'm doing what you wanted. I'm staying away." Eric let out a bitter laugh, shaking his head. "Of course. You're so good at running away, aren't you?" His voice rose, the pain in his tone impossible to ignore. "It's just like 2 years ago. You abandoned me then, and now you're doing it all over again." Brent froze, the words cutting deeper than he expected. "Eric, that's not..." "Don't," Eric interrupted, his voice breaking. "Don't act like you're some martyr. You're just a coward. I'm trying to respect your feelings." Brent shot back, his frustration bubbling over. "You told me to stay away. What do you want from me, Eric?" "What do I want?" Eric's eyes filled with tears, his voice cracking. "I want you to stop giving up so easily. I want you to care enough to fight, Brent. But you can't, can you? You never could." Brent stood there, stunned, as Eric wiped at his eyes and took a deep, shaky breath. "Do you even know what that night did to me?" Eric asked, his voice softer now but no less pained. "What it's like to have the person you trust most in the world betray you like that." Brent's heart clenched. "Eric. I didn't mean to hurt you. I thought..." "Don't," Eric said sharply. "You thought what? That it would be funny? That it wouldn't matter?" Brent opened his mouth to respond, but Eric cut him off, his words like a slap. The memory of that night came rushing back in vivid detail. They had been at Charlie's house when the plan was hatched. Brent's older brother and his friends had been teasing him relentlessly about Eric. "He's in love with you, Brent," Charlie had said with a smirk. "No, he's not," Brent had protested, though the heat in his cheeks betrayed his own feelings. Charlie had exchanged a look with his friends, mischief in his eyes. "Fine, then. Let's find out for sure." "What are you talking about?" Brent had asked warily. "A prank," Charlie had said, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. "We stage a little scenario. Put you in danger. See how Eric reacts. Then you will see how he really feels about you." Brent had shaken his head, laughing nervously. "That's ridiculous. I'm not doing that." But Charlie had been persistent, his friends egging him on. "Come on, Brent. Don't you want to know? What if he does love you?" After hours of coaxing and teasing, Brent had finally caved. It was supposed to be harmless, just a joke to test Eric's feelings. He hadn't realized how far it would go. That night, the kidnapping had gone too far. After hours in the basement, they had been dragged to the rooftop, blindfolded and bound. Brent remembered Eric's shaking voice as he begged the kidnappers not to hurt him. And then came the moment Brent could never forget. The blindfold had been ripped off Eric's face, and he had seen Brent half hanging over the railing of the rooftop, two kidnappers pretending to struggle to hold him up. "No!" Eric had screamed, his voice raw with terror. "Please, don't. Take me instead." The kidnappers had laughed, their masks hiding their amusement. "Why should we?" One of them had sneered. "What's he to you?" Eric's response had been immediate, without hesitation. "He's my life. If he dies, there's no meaning left for me. Please, I'm begging you. Don't hurt him." The words had stunned everyone, including Brent. He had heard the truth in Eric's voice, the raw vulnerability of his confession. One of the kidnappers had laughed. "Sounds like he loves him," he said, looking at Eric. "So? Do you love him?" "Yes," Eric had said, tears streaming down his face. "I love him. I've always loved him." Brent had barely had time to process those words before the prank was revealed. Charlie and his friends had pulled off their masks, grinning like idiots as they untied Eric. "See? Told you he'd confess," Charlie had said, clapping Brent on the back. Eric had stared at them in disbelief, his face pale. "How could you do this to me?" he had asked, his voice shaking. But his focus had been on Brent. Did you know about this? Brent had opened his mouth to explain, but Eric had cut him off, his voice filled with rage and heartbreak. Don't say anything. I never want to see you again. Now, standing in the classroom, Brent could see the same hurt in Eric's eyes that he had seen that night. I didn't think it would go that far, Brent said quietly, his voice filled with regret. I didn't know they'd do that to you. I'm sorry, Eric. I'm so sorry. But Eric shook his head, stepping back. Sorry isn't enough, Brent. Not this time. And with that, Eric walked away, leaving Brent standing there, the weight of his guilt heavier than ever.